All right, happy Friday. Today we are going to translate a circle, which means taking the circle and moving it, which means moving it left, right, up, or down. All of our problems on our last assignment from 9.1 and 9.3 were centered at the origin, meaning the center was right in the middle, right at the point 0, 0, and then we went outwards, the radius, in every direction. Well, today our center is going to be somewhere else. You notice how our center right here is at HK, so it's at this point. It almost looks like it's at like 3, 5 or something like that. So when our center is somewhere besides 0, 0, we have this new equation for translating a circle. So for those of you that have the notes from Wednesday and Thursday, these will be a continuation of your notes. For those of you that don't have the notes or aren't usually given the notes, then you want to copy down this equation. For a standard equation for a circle centered at HK, here is our new equation. Parentheses, x minus h parentheses squared plus the quantity y minus k squared equals r squared. Now this should be somewhat familiar. Don't h and k usually go together? Or, excuse me, h and x usually go together, and y and k usually go together. And so this is a minus inside the parentheses. So remember that everything inside the parentheses we're going to change signs for. So you look at this picture here, and you see there's our center at HK. Our radius goes from the center to the edge of the circle, and this just represents any point. There's a whole bunch of points on this circle. There's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here. There's a ton of infinite number of points on this circle. So the main things that are really important are the center and the radius. All right, let's see how we're going to use this. The first question says, write the standard equation for this translated circle. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for us. Oops. That didn't work out so well. I'll just leave it there. Okay, there's where it was. So let's take a look at this circle. It looks to me like the center is at -4. How far up did it go? 4. Okay, the center is at -4, 4. And this right here is the radius. So if we wanted to write the equation of this circle, we're going to do x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. What is our h and our k? -4, 4. So we're going to say x minus a -4 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals our radius. How much is our radius? 1, 2, 3, 4. My goodness, this is a lot of 4s. I think when I moved it around, I might have changed it a little bit. So our radius is 4 squared. Now I'm going to simplify this and make this a little better. Doesn't this become x plus 4? Whoops, what's going on? All right, doesn't that become x plus 4? And this stays negative. Remember how you usually change the sign? So since this was a negative, we changed it into a positive. And then 4 squared becomes 16. So this right here is my answer. This is the equation of this circle that's centered at -4, 4 and has a radius of r. Right, let's look at another example. Let's see here. I can get this to work. I happen to fix things a little bit so it shows up. All right, this says write the standard equation of a circle, and this time it's centered at -2, -1, and it has a radius of 8. Now we don't have to draw this. So right here, this is our h, and this is our k, and this is our r. So when I go to write the equation of the circle, it's going to be x minus, and instead of writing minus a -2, I'm going to change the sign and make it x plus 2 squared. And now we have y minus our k, and rather than subtracting a negative, I'm going to add 1, and then I'm going to square my radius, and my equation is there. There's the equation of this translated circle, right? All right, so that's how we write equations of circles. Let's see what else we're going to take a look at. Having trouble moving on to the next slide. Let's see if I can do it from here. All right, now on Wednesday and Thursday we remembered from geometry our midpoint and our distance formulas. Why might this be necessary? Because maybe we don't know exactly how long the radius is. So this problem right here, oh, we can't see it again. It's a problem. Okay, I'm going to try to keep going. This problem here says write the standard form for the equation of the circle, and it's going to pass through 5, 7. So this is just some point on the circle, and its center is at negative 3, 2. So this is our HK. Now the problem is here, we don't know what the radius is, so we're going to have to find it. Doesn't the radius go from the center to the outside of the circle? So to find our radius, what we're going to do is use the distance formula. And remember that the distance formula looked a little bit like this. We subtract the x's. So our x's are negative 3 minus 5. And then we subtract the y's, 2 minus 7. So remember the distance formula from Wednesday or Thursday. Let me do my math here. So let's see, negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Squared is 64. 2 minus 7 is negative 5. Squared is 25. So it looks like my radius is 89. Okay, so that's my radius. So now I can write the equation of the circle. It's going to go x minus h squared. Where's my h? Right there. That's my h. So minus a negative 3 becomes plus 3 squared. And then plus, you notice I'm using the center. I'm using the center. Not this. This is just a point on the circle. I want my center. And then y minus, what's my k? 2 squared equals, and now I'm going to take my radius, which is the square root of 89, and I need to square it. Right? Does that make sense how I have to square my radius? So let's go ahead and simplify this a little bit. This would end up being x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, what would the square root of 89 squared be? Plain old 89. Those two cancel each other. And there's the equation of our circle. This one was just a little more work than the last one because we didn't have the radius. We had to figure that out. Let's see if I can. Oh, this is going to be a problem. I can do this. There we go. Okay, let's look at this bottom example now. It says write the standard form for the equation of the circle, and this time it passes through 0, 5, and 6, negative 1. They didn't give us the center. So what I mean by this is that we have the point 0, 5, which is right about there, and we have the point 6, negative 1, which is right about there. And that guy is on the diameter. See how the diameter? We don't have the center. The center is going to be right in between these 2 points. And so we're going to then go back and use the midpoint formula to find the center, because the midpoint is the center. So to find the center, see the difference? Here this said center, but here it's not. It's the endpoints of the diameter, so we need the center. So I'm going to add my 2 x's together and divide by 2. Add my 2 y's together and divide by 2. And apparently my center is at 3, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then 5 plus negative 1 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. So my center is at 3, 2. Awesome. Now, what else do I need for an equation of the circle? The radius, okay? The radius, just like above, I'm going to use my distance formula. The radius goes from the center to one of the points on the circle. It doesn't matter which one you pick because all the radii are the same length. This one seems easier to me, so I'm just going to pick that one. In this case, I'm going to use the distance formula, and I'm going to use the center because the radius goes from the center to the edge. So it would be subtracting the x's, 3 minus 0 squared. Now plus, I'm going to subtract the y's, which is 2 minus negative 1, so that becomes plus 1 squared. And let's see what I get here. I have 3 squared is 9, and then I have 3 squared is 9. So in this case, I get the square root of 18. So that's my radius. So now we're ready to write the equation of the circle. Let's see if I can get a little more room. I'll just have to come over here. I have x minus 3 squared. Where did that 3 come from? It's because the center is at 3, 2. So this is my h and my k. So x minus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals, what's going to happen if I square this square root of 18? Just like up here, I squared the 89. Aren't we just going to get regular old 18 because we square a square root? Okay? So let's look at the difference between these two problems. One of them gave you the center and the edge. The other one just gave you the 2 edges. So if they give you the center, you already have the h and the k. If they don't give you the center, you have to use the midpoint formula to find the center. Right? So your assignment today is going to be a worksheet. And the sub has that worksheet. And I think you can hopefully get it done. Be sure to help each other. You can ask each other questions. Hopefully someone in here understands it well enough. Don't forget your distance and midpoint formula. Read the directions, and let's get that done. And then after that, have a wonderful weekend.